Today we are going to make paneer butter masala. So I have this paneer cubes that I keep in the freezer frozen, and then I take it out, make sure it's thawed in the fridge. And this one, as you can see, is about close to 400 grams. So I'm going to cut these into cubes. I'll put this in this bowl. I also use a little bit of the mutter, the piece, and we'll see the process. I use a technique from one pot one shot to cook it. So it's a technique where you cook it in the cooker. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to use a little bit of frozen green peas. So usually I buy these and keep it in the freezer. So I'm taking very little of that. I'm going to keep this in the water, and then we'll cook this together with the paneer. Okay, so this is the paneer cubes. I cut it into small square shaped cubes. So I'm going to add a little bit of milk. This will ensure it's not getting dried out. So a little bit of milk so that it can just stay there while we are trying the cooking preparation, so that it doesn't get dried out. And I have my green peas. I'm going to strain this and then add in my green peas. So strain it and add your green peas in here. You can add, I'm just directly using my hands, but you can add as little or as more as you like the taste. This is not required. I like to add some green, so I just add it. And these are like frozen green peas that you get in the store, so it's easier. So this goes in. And then, as I mentioned, the process, I'm using a cooker to prepare the preparation. So it's easier to do it, and it usually turns out really good. So this is about 400 grams of paneer, so it's a larger kind of a quantity. So I'm using a cooker. As a first step, we'll add a little bit of oil. So add any regular oil that you use for cooking. So this is vegetable oil. So adding oil, and then next step we are going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. So this is salted butter. I get organic salted butter, so it has markings on it for 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to just use this. If I can see all the way till here is 4 tablespoons. I'm going to add my butter in. As it is paneer butter masala, it requires butter. So 4 tablespoons of butter. And then we need the actual cup size. So for this preparation, we need actual cup size for all the measurements. So I have 1 cup. This is the actual 1 cup size. So I'm going to use half cup of water in this, and this is going to be used. So we'll use half cup of water, and then we'll use 2 onions. Will be sliced, and we'll add it there. And then the tomatoes, we'll cut the tomatoes into 2 halves, scoop out the inside seeds and put it inside, and 3 tomatoes. So all of those, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so this is a sliced onion. We're going to add this. So essentially how we went is we started with the first layer of the oil, the butter, and half cup of water. I'm going to add this half cup of water also to the pan. Then I'm going to add my onions. So these are 2 medium onions, so I'm going to add it. 2 medium onions forms the base. So all my onions go in, and then I'll be adding 3 tomatoes. I'm going to slice this into 2 and add this. So we'll see how we do that. Just get all of this in here. So these are my tomatoes. Just cut it into 2, and I'm going to scoop the inside out and then just add it in here itself. But I'm essentially creating a kind of a like a hole kind of thing, so that I'll be adding all my masalas inside that hole. And let's do this. Going to add, we don't want to add too much of tomatoes. If you add too much of tomatoes, the taste kind of feels a little bit different. So keep that in mind as you add your tomatoes. I don't like too much of tomato taste. So let's add that. And this is my last one. So I'm going to add the tomatoes in. Once we add our tomatoes in, we can add we can keep this bowl. So this is a steel container. Usually with cookers you might get these small, and this one is the size of I think four cup. So if you have a container that goes inside your cooker, this is a 8-liter cooker. So I'm going to keep this in here. And now next step, we're going to add most of our masalas and spices. So this is paneer butter masala. We use coconut. I get coconuts in Indian stores, so I'm going to use it. I'll use about 20 cashew nuts. So I'm going to quickly count them and add them in. So about 20 cashew nuts. Okay, so we added the base onions, the tomatoes, added the container with the paneer, and we added the cashew nuts. I think I said coconuts in between, but yeah, it's cashew nuts. So 20 of those, and then we are going to add the green chilies in. So 3 green chilies. If you don't like it too spicy, it doesn't add too much spice, but 3 should be good. We don't want to add more than that. Again, this is about 400 grams of paneer that we are making. And I'm going to add 3 green chilies, just slice it. And then about 3 or 4 cloves, so just spread it in. And now we are going to add the masalas in. All the masalas that we usually use is all regular. But before I add the masala, I'm also going to add ginger garlic paste. So very little of ginger garlic paste. This also I get it in store, so I'm just directly adding it, so it's easier. So ginger and garlic paste goes in. Now we are going to add masalas, which will include coriander powder. So coriander powder, I'm going to add 3/4 of a tablespoon. I'm going to add this in one of these tomatoes. I'm going to take the cashew nuts out so that I have space. So I'm going to add this. This goes in here. Very little of the turmeric powder. And the reason why we are adding this inside this tomatoes is to ensure that the masala doesn't burn. Again, this is a method from a group called One Pot One Shot. They prepare in smaller quantities. Tried this and been trying this larger quantities, and it goes well with parties and stuff. So coriander powder, turmeric powder, and we are going to add chili powder. Now I don't add too much of chili powder. I add very little of chili powder, but I substitute it with the Kashmiri chili powder because I don't want it too spicy. So very little of chili powder, and we'll add Kashmiri chili powder. So it's very red. I usually store in my own containers, but I'm going to add a little bit of about less than 3/4 tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder. So added that. Then we'll add our salt. So I have my salt containers. So I'll add about 3/4 tablespoon of salt, and I'll also be adding sugar. So, and about 3/4 tablespoon of sugar too. And the last piece would be the garam masala. So I'm going to add sugar in a different one, and then a little bit of garam masala. So let me get that. So garam masala again, I prepare this with a mixture of the various spices, but you get it in all stores, so use that, very little of that. And the last step is about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. This is regular ketchup, so you should get it in all stores. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of ketchup too. And this is paneer butter masala, so it does require a little bit of a sweet and the saltiness that kind of makes up the space. So you saw that we added sugar, we also added salt, and I'm adding ketchup. All of this would help to build up the taste. And I think that should be it. We'll close this cooker and then cook it for 3 whistles. At the end of 3 whistles, we'll turn it off and then it will rest for another 30 minutes. Completely, the pressure will go down. And once that happens, once it is fully cooked, the pressure is gone, we take this out and this mixture would be cooked. It will be watery, and that we would blend it in a blender, in a mixie, and pour this in. And that actually would give you the paneer butter masala, which goes well with from puris or chapati. So I'm going to close this in and pressure cook it. So this is kasuri methi. Again, you get in our stores. It's fenugreek, dried fenugreek leaves. So I take a little bit and then rub it in and add it. And that's all the spices. And we are going to close it and cook it for 3 whistles. So cooker has been there waiting for the whistles. Once it is 3 whistles, I'll be turning it off. But it does take about more than 10 to 15 minutes for it to whistle. So just waiting, and I'll let it rest once it is done. The cooker is waiting, hoping it will whistle. My third whistle. Took about 15 minutes, I would say. So I'm almost done. I'll turn it off and then I'm just going to allow it to rest for another 30 minutes. The pressure has to completely go off, and then we'll open the cooker and we'll see. So the cooker has been resting for about more than 30 minutes. I think pressure has settled down. So I'm going to open the cooker up and we will make the gravy out of the mixture. Okay, so the cooker has been resting for about 30 minutes. Pressure is all settled. Opening the cooker up, you can see all the onions and tomatoes kind of completely cooked. I'm going to take this pan out that had the paneer in it. We'll keep that outside, and rest of this I'm going to use one of these. Take this out. Then keeping this on the side. That's the paneer with the butter, the green peas, and you can see this mixture that you see here. I'm going to mix this up. When you mix this up completely, it has all the tomatoes, the onions, the masalas, the cashews. It's still hot, so I'll let it cool a little bit, and then I'm going to make a paste of this, essentially a gravy form with my mixie. And that's it. It has everything in it. Once this gravy is ready, you just mix your paneer with this gravy, and that is your paneer butter masala. We'll see. Okay, so this is the mixture. So this is my mixie's jar. I'll need to do this at least 3 times. So I'll make the paste and I'll pour this into a pan. So this is it. Everything is in this, and I'm going to close it and turn on my mixie. Okay, so this is my first batch, so it's pureed, and I'm going to add it into a pan. There's no more cooking involved, so just adding into the pan. I did heat my pan a little bit just to ensure it's not wet. So everything goes in, and I'm going to do the next batch. So essentially all of this will just make the puree, and then we'll add the paneer into it. So again, I'm doing it in smaller batches because the mixie does not allow that big. And then the paneer, I'm going to add this in here. The paneer pieces go in. You have to separate it out. You will see that it's a little bit sticky. So all of this goes in, and I'm going to separate this out. But at the end, with the entire mixture, it will be all ready. So this is just the first set of the paneer gravy. And if you think your paneer is a little bit more, you can do a next one more batch of the same curry base. That is all that it needs. So the same curry base with onion and the tomatoes and all of those spices is what makes the base. So I'm going to this is there. I'm going to do it again, 2 more batches. So this is my second batch. Again, I pureed it, so I'm pouring it in, and we'll do the last batch. So as you can see, the curry is kind of getting better, right, with more of the curry base. So essentially, if you have more paneer and if you like to have more of the gravy, just make another batch of it, and that should do. So the last set, I'm going to pour it in, and then you can enjoy this with some puri or some chapati or some flat bread. This is the last set that goes in. Just going to pour everything in together. My last batch is ready. So as you can see, the entire process is very simple. You just need to make sure you get all your ingredients, pressure cook it for 3 whistles, let it settle, and then you're just making a puree out of the base and then mixing it in. So that really goes well. So this is my last third batch of the puree, so I'm adding it in. And it's all ready. I'm going to give this, making sure everything goes in. The base, going to mix it in, and it's really good. The curry is ready. So if you are hosting a party and you want more of the curry base, just prepare another batch without the paneer. But this is a really easy dish, and you can quickly prepare it as long as you have all the ingredients, which are kind of plain simple, and enjoy it with some chapatis. So this I did not turn the gas stove on. I'm just using a pan and it's on the stove just for the ease of it, but there's no cooking involved. The only cooking that we did was in the pressure cooker. So that is it. Enjoy. Okay, so the final product I transferred to a bowl, and this is your paneer curry. Enjoy it with some chapati or tortillas. I have tortillas here, and it really goes well. It's kind of a sweet and spicy mix, I would say. So enjoy some nice paneer butter masala. So that should be really good.